So welcome to Networking and Working Your Resume. This session is important because your resume shouldn't be a stagnant, stale document. It should be something that you're actively working on and adapting, and most importantly, getting it in front of people. So I'm really excited to guide you through this content. For a quick introduction, my name is Jessica. I use she, her pronouns. I am based in Brooklyn, New York on unceded Lenape land. And my background is as a former theater arts administrator turned cultural worker, and spent years working in equity and diversity within the field of arts admin. In the mix there, got training as a meditation instructor, a master's in art and public policy. And I'm joining you in my role as Arena's deputy training director. I like to share that background because I think of it as a quote unquote untraditional political background, which I think goes to the point that there is no traditional political background. So hopefully you see a space for yourself within this work as well. And an introduction to Arena and the work that we do here. The first step in our progressive talent pipeline is Arena Academy, where we train the next generation of campaign staff with the skills, knowledge, and tools to build winning campaigns and movements. As of the end of 2022, we've trained more than 2,200 current and aspiring campaign staffers, and we're really looking forward to growing that number through continued trainings in 2023. And our program, Arena Careers, through Arena Careers and Talents, through those programs, we provide professional development support for those who have attended our training programs. So Arena trained staffers have held more than 2,000 roles on campaigns and with progressive electoral organizations since the start of Academy. And that includes more than 550 roles in the 2022 midterms alone. So after attending Arena Academy, you gain access to a variety of career services and supports through our talent program, such as resume workshops, networking, one-on-one career coaching, and Arena recommendations when applying to jobs. And then lastly here, Arena Toolbox. Through Arena Toolbox, we support campaign staffers with a collection of free toolkits, tutorials, and templates for building winning campaigns. Our toolbox has over 80 free tools, and that is always growing. And whether you're in a role or in the process of job hunting, the toolbox likely has something that is relevant for you. So getting into our session goals for today, during Module 1, we are going to define your challenge. During Module 2 of this training, we are going to map your network. And during Module 3, we will cover the informational interview. But getting started here with defining your challenge and wanting to really take a moment here to level set. Networking for many people can feel uncomfortable. And often when we feel uncomfortable about something, we avoid it or make excuses not to do it. Or, maybe networking is like right up your alley. Maybe it's your jam. Maybe it's something that you totally excel at. And the point we want to emphasize here is that there is no right way to feel about networking. But we have to do this level set and adopt a certain mentality when it comes to networking. Because it's not going to be helpful to tire ourselves out with a ton of informational interviews. But it's also not going to be helpful if we just say that it's something that we don't need to do at all. So we have to come to this common ground that is helpful to us, and kind of helping us in adopting this mindset. So why is networking important? when our training director is putting together this training, she did a lot of research about networking. And what she found in that research is that there's a lot of good stuff out there about networking. And there's also a lot of not great stuff. But there was one point here that we want to emphasize that was most compelling. So a 2016 LinkedIn survey found that 85% of jobs are filled through networking. So someone is going to be much more likely to hire you if you have some sort of connection with them or if there's a referral involved. So networking isn't about just one thing or one goal. So networking can help us in quite a number of ways. It could help us to meet our next employer, collaborator, or hire, which can hopefully help to take some of the pressure off of yourself. Very often it's about finding your next job, but also thinking about it as maybe you're finding your next lead, finding a future hire, or maybe networking is just about meeting your next great collaborator, your next great colleague. Networking can also help us to understand an industry better and refine your resume. So again, maybe not just thinking about your next job. It's okay if that is your agenda in networking, is to land your next job, but you can also widen that scope or that lens. You can think about it as a way to learn about and ask about an industry that may be new to you or that you're trying to break into. Networking can also help us explore different roles, whether they're a good fit, and how to stand out amongst other applicants. So you might see a role in a campaign and be interested in it, but also maybe it's new to you and you're not quite sure whether it's the right move or the right pivot. Networking is one of these great spaces in which we can explore that and figure that out. Networking can also help us to understand what others see as strengths or weaknesses in an area, so you can gain some perspective on your resume and how it's coming across. And lastly here, to get inspired, because networking can be hard work. It can be drudgery, but sometimes you have a conversation with someone where it really lights something up for you, or it helps you tie back to your why of doing something. So we can also think about networking as an opportunity to get inspired. So today we're going to focus on how networking can help you with your job search, honing in on this one aspect. And I want you to start by thinking about what challenge you are trying to solve for. So this challenge should be specific to your job search, thinking about what you'd like to do next and how you can get there. And this will also just help us to make good use of our networking time, because there is nothing worse about an informational interview than when someone asks for your time, they get 30 minutes on your calendar, and then you show up to the meeting with no idea about what they want to talk about. We show up to these informational interviews and we have, no idea why we're talking to that person. So we want to avoid that. We want to make a good use of our time. So on the right here, you'll see some examples of challenges. A challenge might be, I don't think that organizing on campaigns is for me, and I'd like to explore more digital roles. I don't know how to break into campaign management, or my resume seems not to be getting in the hands of the right people in the opposition field. So the overall challenge is finding a job, but it's important to dig into specifics, to dig beyond the surface and really articulate the challenge that you're having. So I'm going to invite you to take a moment here to write 1 to 3 challenges you're thinking about related to your job search and your next step. Great. And now that you've done that, I want you to turn it into a question. So I'm going to invite you to get curious. Here, we're going to take another moment to write down 2 to 3 questions about your next job search. So a couple examples here. How might I transition into digital advertising? How can I learn whether comms is really the right field for me? How might I get a job as a ROD, regional organizing director, if I was just an organizer? So these how might I questions can help you to think proactively rather than getting stuck in the realm of questioning, which, has no answers or might lean towards a sense of helplessness. It will be helpful to shy away from big, unproductive questions such as, what do I want to do with my life? But getting more into the realm of tangible possibilities with these questions. So the might also takes pressure off of having a concrete plan or proposal. It's just exploring. So stay open-ended and curious as you think about these questions, and take another 4 to 5 minutes here to write those out. Great. And now that you've defined your challenge, we want to invite you to join us in the next brief module to explore best practices for mapping your network ahead of reaching out for informational interviews.